7-year-old girl unveils 3 life-changing secrets with X-ray inspiring officer and dog shocked. Lily Thompson was no ordinary 7-year-old girl. With her wild curls bouncing in the afternoon sun and her scruffy rescue dog Max at her side, she was a force of nature. In the town of Maplewood, where every yard burst with colorful flowers and neat picket fences, she had become a little adventurer. But one sunny afternoon changed everything. While rummaging through her dad's old police gear in the attic, her fingers brushed against a mysterious object. Dust danced in the sunlight as she pulled out an old X-ray machine, forgotten and coated in memories. Her heart raced. "Look, Max. This could be our ticket to discovering hidden secrets," she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. Max wagged his tail, as if he understood exactly where this adventure was heading. Without thinking, she began tinkering with the machine, her small fingers surprisingly skilled at dodging the dusty cobwebs of time. Soon, her innocent exploration would uncover heartwarming stories buried deep within the folds of Maplewood. Lily's first discovery was about Mrs. Thompson, yes, her namesake, but not a relative. The elderly woman down the street, with her gentle smile and oversized gardening hat, was secretly assembling care packages for the elderly. Each week, she crafted love-filled boxes with homemade cookies and warm blankets. Her soft laughter echoed down the street as she would deliver these gifts, brightening the hardest days. "Max, can you believe it?" Lily grinned, imagining Mrs. Thompson's face when she learned how much her kindness had meant. The next story tugged at Lily's heart. Mr. Rodriguez, the quiet veteran who lived nearby, supported families in need without ever asking for thanks. He volunteered, shared food from his garden, and even fixed bikes for the neighborhood kids, all while wearing a mysterious air of humility. Lily could hardly contain her excitement and ran to find her dad, whose retired badge now seemed to dull against the backdrop of her newfound mission. As Lily recounted these stories, her father listened, his eyes lighting up with a spark of pride he hadn't felt in months. She felt vibrant, like a color splash on a canvas. Her dad looked like the officer he once was, capable of bringing the town together. This revelation had ignited a warmth, a shared sense of purpose, sparking compassion among the residents of Maplewood. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But as her father's eyes twinkled and the community began rallying together, cracks started to show. Old rivalries heated up. Economic divides threatened to overshadow the joy curling through the streets. Each of Lily's innocent words about compassion seemed to echo louder, igniting uncomfortable conversations that pulled families apart. Then came the twist. One influential family, once admired for their giving nature, was revealed to have ulterior motives laced with greed. Whispers filled the air, creating tension that threatened to unravel the hope Lily had woven. Standing at the edge of chaos, clutching Max's scruffy fur, Lily felt the weight of the truth on her small shoulders. Could she mend the town before it fell apart, or would her innocent discoveries tighten the grasp of betrayal? The choice was hers to make, a decision that could either tear the family of Maplewood, or unite it stronger than ever. Her heart raced with determination. This was just the beginning of her adventure. With a determined heart and Max by her side, Lily scampered down the street, her mind racing. She felt the pulse of Maplewood in her veins. Everything seemed alive. But the whispering doubts in the air gave her pause. How could something so beautiful, her own joyful discoveries, bring about anger and division? As they approached Maplewood Square, she could already see the townspeople gathering. They were huddled in groups, faces tight with worry. It was as if a shadow had fallen over their tight-knit community. The worried looks contrasted sharply with the warm afternoon sun that bathed the square in golden light. And maybe I just need to share more stories, Lily thought aloud, her voice faltering slightly as she clenched Max's leash tighter. If people see how much good exists, they'll remember what we're capable of. With a deep breath, Lily stepped onto a low stone wall, her feet steady despite the fluttering uncertainty inside her. She raised her hands, waving for attention. "Hey, everyone!" she called out, and for a moment, the crowd turned. "I found something super cool. Secrets that show how wonderful we all are." A ripple of interest surged through the group, but also a few skeptical murmurs. Lily could feel the skepticism surrounding her like a fog. But she pressed on, pushing her courage to the surface. "Mrs. Thompson makes care packages filled with treats. And Mr. Rodriguez fixes bikes and gives food to families in need." A few smiles appeared and then faded, still wrapped in doubt. "But look," she continued, her voice gaining strength, "we can't forget those good things, right? They inspire us to be better. To help." The murmurs grew louder, now mixed with whispers of opposition. "What about the Parkers?" One voice cut in, "They've been lying to us." Lily's heart sank, the names echoing like thunder in her ears. She had never considered that something she adored could be shrouded in deceit. The Parkers had always seemed like pillars of the community. Could it be true? Had they betrayed the spirit they once embodied? The thought made her gut twist. The warmth she felt seemed to cool as uncertainty gripped her. Yet, she couldn't waver now. "Maybe we can find a way to talk to each other," she suggested, trying to bridge the growing chasm. "Let us sit down together, share what we know. Those who help and those who hurt, we can work it out." Max twitched his ears, sensing the tension. Silent tears filled Lily's eyes. Would they listen? Just a few words from her innocent heart, and her little voice was almost drowning in the tumult. Then, through the clamor, a hand shot up. It was Mrs. Thompson, her smile wavering yet determined. "Lily's right," she said gently, her eyes softening. "Maybe it's time we remember our compassion. Let us get together, share the stories that unite us. Let us not forget to embrace our humanity." The words struck like a match in a dark room, igniting little glimpses of hope. It was as if something within the crowd shifted, a slow unraveling of tensions. Lily felt a spark within her too, but the worry lingered. How much damage could the Parkers' secret do? Could one revelation really split the heart of Maplewood in two? Just as she thought they might be turning a corner, another voice rose, filled with anger and disbelief. "What if we don't want to listen? What if we're done pretending whom we can trust?" Lily's chest tightened, and with courage she didn't know she had, she shouted above the noise, "What if we try anyway?" As faces turned, emotions swelled, and the clock of their little town seemed to tick louder. She could feel the weight of the moment pressing against her small frame. This was a turning point. Would it fortify their ties or shatter everything they built? The uncertainty hung thick in the air as Lily and Max stood there, waiting for someone to step forward, to take a stand. What would that decision look like for the people of Maplewood? Would it usher in a new dawn or bring chaos crashing down? And deep inside her, Lily could sense the stakes rising. This adventure was only getting started, and she was right in the middle of it. But what would she discover next? Just then, a tall figure stepped forward. It was Mr. Parker himself, the person at the center of this storm. His face was pale, clearly shaken. His eyes darted around the square, trying to gauge the mood. People were staring, some with anger, others with curiosity. Lily's heart raced. This was the moment. Could things go from bad to worse, or could they shift in a way she never dreamed? "Everyone," Mr. Parker began, his voice trembling but steadying. I know there's been talk. There are things about our family that people misunderstood." He swallowed hard. "Some decisions we made were rooted in fear, and fear can often twist the truth." A wave of tension rippled through the crowd. Lily could feel the weight of every eye directed at him. Would he take responsibility or deflect it? Would this bring healing or deepen the divide? As Mrs. Thompson took a step closer to Mr. Parker, she placed a hand softly on his arm. "It's okay to be afraid," she said, her voice a soothing balm. "We all have moments of weakness. We just need to listen to understand." Mr. Parker inhaled deeply. "You're right, Mrs. Thompson. We thought we could manage things on our own. When we needed help, we tried to hide it. But we should have come to the community. We're still part of this family, and it hurts to see you all hurt." Lily watched as the crowd began to soften. Faces that moments ago were lined with suspicion now reflected understanding. She felt a glimmer of hope pierce through the fear that had gripped her heart. "And I want to address the rumors directly," Mr. Parker continued, sadness coloring his words. "I know we've made mistakes, but we've never wanted to harm any of you. Can we talk? Can we find a way to heal this together?" The air tinged with a mix of emotions: hope, fear, uncertainty. Lily stepped off the wall, taking a tentative step toward the Parkers. Max mirrored her intent, his instincts guiding him close. What if sharing feelings could knit together loose threads into a stronger fabric? "And maybe we can." Lily found her voice again, steadying herself as she spoke up to the crowd. "Let us not just rush to judge. We can share stories about how hard it is to be human. We can make room for mistakes. We all want to belong." A quiet murmur began, voices mixing as others started putting their hands up to share their thoughts. Slowly, one by one, people opened up about their misunderstandings, fears, and struggles. Mrs. Thompson spoke of her fears when her husband lost his job. Mr. Rodriguez stepped up to say how he felt isolated after moving to Maplewood. The cycle of honest exchanges lifted the stormy weight in the square. For every story shared, a bit of tension untangled. Laughter burst through the cracks of despair as people found common ground, each piece of vulnerability tracing invisible lines connecting hearts. But just as hope blossomed, a figure emerged from the back of the crowd, a man with a frown and furrowed brow. "You talk about healing, but what about the truth?" he yelled, drawing attention. "What about the damage that's already been done?" Lily's heart sank again, the joy of connection threatened by doubt. Everybody turned toward the newcomer, the air thick with questions. Would they spiral back into blame? All she could think was, how much harder would this become? Could they weather this storm together, or would the shadow return to cloud Maplewood once more? The momentary peace danced on the edge of chaos, and Lily stood at that precipice, wondering what would happen next. Would courage win out, or would distrust creep back in to reignite the flame of division? The man's voice shattered the fragile air of hope, leaving a bitter echo that seemed to settle like dust over the crowd. Lily desperately searched for something to say, but words evaded her. The unyielding expression on the man's face told her that this confrontation was far from over. "Who are you to demand the truth?" Mr. Parker shot back, but even his retort trembled with uncertainty. He seemed smaller somehow, dwarfed by the mounting aggression in the crowd. Lily felt her heart thud painfully in her chest. The man stepped forward, pushing through those who had been ready to extend their compassion. "I'm just someone who is tired of the lies," he exclaimed, voice rising with passion. "We've talked about sharing our stories, but what about the stories that got left behind? What about those who aren't here anymore because of those same lies?" The crowd fell into a hush, absorbing the weight of his accusation. Lily's blood ran cold. She knew that not everyone had walked away from the past unscathed. That many had suffered, felt abandoned, and those feelings were still fresh as new cuts. "I didn't ask for this family drama to become my burden. I want accountability," he continued, his eyes glimmering with unshed tears. Lily glanced at Mr. Parker. She saw him recoil, his confidence rattled. Then she spotted Max, his fists clenched, brow furrowed with worry. Would this man's steadfastness push the crowd back into chaos, wiping away their moment of connection? "You're right," Lily said, surprising herself with the steadiness of her voice. She stepped closer, arms wrapped tightly around her waist as if to shield herself from the wave of intensity. People did get hurt. But maybe we can address that. If we listen, if we share, we might find a way to face the truth together. The man turned to her, eyebrows raised, disbelief etched on his face. You think it's that easy? No, I don't, Lily admitted, her voice trembling. But there's strength in being honest. Strength in owning our mistakes. She could feel the gazes of the crowd on her, a mix of skepticism and curiosity. Mr. Parker, emboldened by Lily's words, stepped closer again. What can we do to make amends? He asked, vulnerability flickering in his eyes. We don't have all the answers, but we want to work through the pain we caused. The man, still frowning, considered Mr. Parker's words. Finally, he folded his arms, the tension in his body faintly relaxing. We need a plan. Actions speak louder than words. If you truly want to heal, let us see you put in the work. The crowd swirled with mixed emotions. Some nodded in agreement, while others murmured doubts. The day had shifted, the hope that had sparked felt fragile, yet the air was charged with potential. Let us hold a community meeting, Lily suggested, courage swelling within her. We can discuss our stories openly, what's hurt, what's not been addressed. We can invite everyone who's willing to speak, even those who've been silenced. It's time we break the cycle of shame. A flicker of enthusiasm lit the eyes of a few in the crowd. A mother spoke up, I'd be willing to share about how I felt when my daughter was bullied. A father added, I want to express my fear when I lost my job because of miscommunication. Encouragement rippled through the attendees. Yet, the man who had initiated the confrontation still looked uncertain. I'm still not convinced this will change anything, he shot back, but there was less venom in his voice now. Hope and doubt clashed like storm clouds in the sky. Lily's moment felt pregnant with possibility, but the risk of failure loomed just as heavily. Then let us make it a start, together, she offered, eyes searching, pleading. Would they allow themselves to step onto a path of healing? Or would they let the shadows of the past doom their future? With the crowd stirring around her, Lily could only wonder if this fragile shift could turn into something stronger, something that would last. Would they rise united, or be torn apart yet again? Just as the man was about to respond, a young voice piped up from the back of the crowd. Why can't we just be friends? All eyes turned to a little girl, perhaps around 7, with bright blue eyes and pigtails that bobbed as she held her teddy bear tightly against her chest. Her innocent question broke through the tension like a breath of fresh air. Lily felt a wave of warmth wash over her. The girl's simplicity reminded everyone of what was at stake, not just stories of pain, but the possibility of connection. It was like everyone took in that simple truth at once. Even the man who had questioned them seemed visibly softened by her words. Mr. Parker bent down, meeting the girl's gaze. Sometimes it's hard to be friends when we're hurt, he explained gently. But you're right. We all just want to be understood. Lily took a step forward, her heart racing with renewed purpose as she addressed the crowd once more. What if she began, considering her words? What if we shared our stories not to blame, but to build understanding? To create friendships, even from our pain? A ripple of agreement went through the crowd. Max gave her a slight nod, his anxious brow relaxing just a fraction. Lily felt a surge of hope ignite again. The little girl's childlike belief was contagious, it stirred something deep within her. The man who had stood so firm against her efforts slowly uncrossed his arms. Fine, he conceded, the edges of his resolve crumbling. But today is just the beginning. We need to commit to this. A chorus of people murmured their consent, eager to take that next step. A pact of honesty, someone in the crowd suggested, their voice gaining strength. A promise to listen to each other. The day stretched before them like a new dawn, the horizon brimming with potential. They would gather, speak, and listen. Perhaps they could disentangle the pain from the past and cast a new light over their community. With her heart still hammering in her chest, Lily scanned the faces around her, some hopeful, some uncertain, but all present, finally ready to engage and connect. She felt an electric current course through the crowd, as if they were all tied together now, connected by shared intent, but then, the ground let out a quiet tremor, shaking the very foundation of her resolve. "Wait," came the man's voice, now more vulnerable. "What if it isn't enough? What if the wounds are too deep?" This sobering question hung in the air, reminding them all of the weight of their words. Lily couldn't deny it. Deep down, she shared that fear. As she faced the challenge of moving forward, she steadied herself. "We make it enough," she said, voice shaking but resolute. "Together, we'll face it all. We can't let fear win." The crowd remained silent for a moment as they absorbed her sentiment. Then, the little girl stepped forward, clutching her teddy bear tightly, and smiled brightly. "If we're friends, we can be brave together." That gentle statement filled the space with warmth. Murmurs of encouragement broke out, igniting spirits anew. But beneath all the hope, doubt still simmered, reminding Lily that healing would be a journey, the kind they would have to travel together, not just in words but in actions. "Let us meet tomorrow," she declared, determination nesting within her. "Let us create a plan and assign roles. We'll set our first steps towards friendship over everything else." And just like that, the community that had once felt fractured stood on the precipice of transformation. But as they exchanged hopeful glances, a shadow lingered, a reminder of all that waited to be uncovered. What secrets would emerge in the light of their newfound courage? Would the past allow them to rewrite the future, or were they stepping into a deeper darkness they hadn't yet faced? The journey was just beginning. Lily hardly slept that night. Her mind was racing as she replayed every moment of the day. The little girl's voice, cheerful and bold, echoed against her thoughts. Friends, could that really be the answer? Could a community riddled with pain find solace in each other? Morning light crept in through her window, casting a warm glow over her room. She pushed aside the covers, taking a deep breath. Today was important. Leaning against the kitchen counter, she could hear the sounds of her family bustling around, her mom humming as she poured coffee, her dad discussing something with her older brother. Their bustling warmth soothed her, but Lily felt the weight of what lay ahead. Each face at the community gathering appeared in her mind, and each came with their own battles. If they committed to friendship, they had to unearth the emotions they buried deep. Later that afternoon, the community hall was buzzing with chatter. Chairs were arranged in a circle, an improvisational decision that represented their intentions: unity. The air was thick with a mix of anticipation and anxiety. Lily arrived early, setting up her notes with shaky hands, heart pounding. People began to filter in, the familiar faces she had seen in the neighborhood now stepping into this fresh space of hope. Mr. Parker was the first to arrive, a more relaxed version of himself today. His furrowed brow seemed to have softened, perhaps encouraged by the essence of possibility swirling through the air. As others filed in, the little girl, clutching her teddy bear, walked straight to Lily. "I brought everyone a friendship bracelet," she exclaimed, her eyes wide and radiant. Lily knelt down, taken aback by such a thoughtful gesture. How could something so simple be so powerful? "Thank you," Lily said, her heart swelling. The girl beamed, handing out colorful bracelets, and laughter rippled through the crowd as they accepted the tokens. Once everyone settled, Lily stood. "Thank you all for being here," she began, her voice steady despite the butterflies dancing in her stomach. "Today, we're going to share our stories, not to dwell on the past, but to open doors for understanding." But just as she spoke, an unexpected noise broke through. A loud crash came from outside. Gasps echoed as everyone turned to catch sight of the commotion. A group of kids nearby were attempting to fix a fallen sign, the very sign declaring their community's unity. "Let us go help them," Mr. Parker volunteered as he rushed outside, gathering others to lend a hand. That simple call for action sparked something incredible. Everyone followed. Lily watched as the scene shifted, frustration transforming into teamwork. They lifted the sign, laughter and chatter filling the air. Together, they made adjustments, working side by side. It was a moment of unity without words, a lesson the little girl had unknowingly planted in all their hearts. As they stood back to admire their work, Mr. Parker spoke. Sometimes, it takes a little effort to reshape what has fallen apart. His words resonated deeply, and Lily felt hope swell in her chest. Things were shifting. The conversation Lily feared would be daunting turned into something joyful, tangible. They had sparked a connection through shared action, an unexpected revelation. Her thoughts swirled with excitement. What more could they accomplish together? But as the energy of the gathering began to build, a shadow danced at the edges of their newfound bond. A figure paused at the entrance, the man who had questioned them yesterday. How would they receive him now? Could he step into the light or retreat back into darkness? Lily took a deep breath, feeling the tremor of uncertainty, but her resolve remained. They'd been brave that day, and together they could take on whatever challenges lay ahead. Would he join them in this evolution, or would he retreat to the pain of the past? This moment was critical. The outcome could reshape everything. What would the man decide? The man at the entrance lingered just outside the door, the late afternoon sun casting a long shadow behind him. His gaze swept over the group, a mixture of curiosity and hesitation etched across his face. Lily's heart raced. Would they accept him, or would his presence reopen old wounds? "Hey, it's okay," she called out, her voice steady as it broke the tension. "We'd love for you to join us." The words hung in the air, an invitation hanging on a fragile thread. Some of the neighbors murmured in apprehension, exchanging glances laden with uncertainty. Would he disrupt what they had just begun? Yet Lily stood tall, steadfast in her belief that this was also a moment for him. The man took a tentative step forward, his hands tucked deep into his pockets. I just wanted to see what was happening," he admitted, looking down at his shoes. "I didn't mean to interrupt." Lily smiled, warmth bubbling inside her. "You're not interrupting. We're all here to share and connect. It's about coming together." Mr. Parker took a deep breath, stepping into the circle. "Everyone has a story," he said, eyes intent on the newcomer. "And sometimes, it's the ones we fear most that can teach us the most. Come, join us." The man met Lily's gaze, and for a fleeting moment, she felt something shift. The barriers were fading. He took a few more steps towards the group, turning to the familiar faces that had once avoided him. Tentatively, he slipped into the circle, the energy crackling as he settled next to Mr. Parker. Lily felt her heart lift. "Let us start by sharing something simple," she prompted, casting her eyes around the circle. "What does community mean to each of us?" A hand raised. It was an elderly woman, her features lined with years. "It means safety," she said softly. "A place where we're seen. I miss feeling that way." More voices joined in. They spoke about trust, friendship, strength in numbers, and the laughter that binds them. Each story rippled through the air like threads weaving a tapestry of connection. When the man finally spoke, his voice wavered, but the sincerity was palpable. "I haven't felt part of anything for a while. But I see that you all care for one another. Community, it seems like you have something precious that I want to be part of." Relief washed over Lily, and the corners of her mouth twisted into a smile. Their collective warmth enveloped him as smiles broke out, acceptance blossoming like a flower. As the conversations deepened, laughter erupted, lightening the atmosphere. Even the little girl, still clutching her teddy bear, reached out to him, offering a friendship bracelet she had held tightly for so long. "You can be my friend too," she said, her innocence brightening the room. Tears threatened to spill down the man's cheeks, and for the first time in ages, he looked almost human, no longer a shadow lurking in the background. The community was inviting him in, not as a stranger, but as a piece of the puzzle they were all trying to fit together. Yet, just as the air hummed with a sense of belonging, an unexpected cloud loomed on the horizon. The sound of sirens pierced through the peaceful chatter outside, echoing uncertainty back into the hall. Faces turned toward the door, concern creeping in. Could this be a threat to their newfound unity? Would they be able to face a challenge like this together? Lily held her breath, listening as the sirens grew louder. The real test of their bond was looming closer. How would they respond to whatever was coming their way? The sirens blared louder, slicing through the warmth and camaraderie that had filled the room just moments before. Lily's heart raced again, but this time it was a mix of fear and determination. She scanned the faces around her. Some were anxious, shifting in their seats. Others wore expressions of disbelief, as if the sirens had ripped them from the happy bubble they had created. The man who had just begun to feel accepted looked particularly lost, a flicker of vulnerability crossing his face. "Let us stay calm," Lily said, her voice steady again despite the rising panic. She was surprised at her own resolve, finding strength she didn't know she had. "We don't know why the sirens are here. Let us not jump to conclusions." Mr. Parker turned to the group. "We should check what's happening outside. Whatever the situation, we face it together." His words echoed Lily's thoughts, a thread of solidarity woven through the air. With that, the group tentatively moved toward the front door. As they opened it, the sight outside sent gasps through the crowd. A police car and an ambulance were parked just down the street, lights flashing in vibrant red and blue, painting the neighborhood in a surreal glow. Lily took a deep breath, feeling the weight of all their eyes on her. She caught the man's gaze, and his uncertainty made her heart ache. "Let us stick together," she whispered to him, pride flooding her heart as she pulled him closer to her side. As they stepped into the fading light, the community banded together, a unit forged in trust and mutual support. Even the little girl held tightly to her teddy bear, a silent reminder of innocence amidst the chaos. The group gathered at a safe distance, watching as paramedics wheeled a stretcher from the ambulance. One of the officers spoke gently to a couple standing nearby, clearly shaken. Words like accident and neighbor drifted back to them on the cool evening breeze. Lily leaned towards Mr. Parker, who whispered, "This could be someone in need. We might have to help." The thought sent a rush of adrenaline through her veins. Would they be able to step up when it mattered most? Just then, one of the officers began walking toward them. He looked serious, and the way he moved had an urgency that sent shivers down Lily's spine. He called out, "Folks, can I have your attention?" Every heart seemed to stop as the group turned toward him, tension hanging thick in the air. "I need to ask if anyone here knows about the events leading up to the incident," he continued, eyeing the crowd of familiar faces. "We need your help to piece together what happened." Lily felt her breath catch. This was their moment. They could either stay silent or contribute to something larger than themselves. She glanced around, taking in the worried expressions, the bravado faltering. But then she saw the man again, something flickering in those once distant eyes that urged her forward. "We're here," she spoke up, voice rising above the rest. "We can share what we know." The officer nodded appreciatively, stepping closer as the group shifted, murmurs swirling like autumn leaves caught in a whirlwind. The sirens faded into the background, but the realization of their power as a community surged through her like a current of hope. "Let us work together, for whoever needs us," Lily declared, sparked by a sudden surge of confidence. Would this moment bring them even closer, or would it pull them apart? Outside, shadows danced beneath the flashing lights as the bond among them solidified in the face of uncertainty. What lay ahead felt both daunting and vital. And as the officer began asking questions, a familiar voice rose from the rear of the group. "I know something important." Instinctively, Lily turned towards the sound. Who would speak up now, and what secrets would be unveiled? The murmurs quieted, curiosity spilling into the anxious air as everyone turned to find the source of the unexpected declaration. A small girl, no more than 7, stood at the back of the crowd. Her big blue eyes sparkled with a mix of fear and determination, clutching tightly to her teddy bear as though it might shield her from the unfolding reality. "Lucy," her mother whispered, trying to pull her back. But Lucy stood firm, her tiny stature somehow radiating a strength beyond her years. "I saw the whole thing," she insisted, her voice breaking through the tension that threaded through the group. Lily's heart swelled with a blend of pride and concern for the young girl. The adult world could be overwhelming, and at this moment, Lucy seemed so vulnerable yet so resolute. "What did you see, sweetheart?" Lily asked gently, moving closer to the child, hoping to provide a safe space for her to share. Lucy took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. "There was a man. He was yelling, and then a car came fast, like a superhero chase." Her small hands flailed a bit, mimicking the urgent movements she recalled. "And then he fell. I thought he was playing, but he didn't get up." Each word felt heavy, anchoring the community in a shared moment of understanding. A collective gasp echoed, and Lily felt the shift in the air. The man's vulnerability transformed into something visceral and real, drawing the group's attention to the importance of Lucy's words. "Can you tell us more?" The officer, now kneeling to meet Lucy eye to eye, encouraged gently. In that moment, he became the caring figure that children desperately need in chaotic situations, bridging the gap between fear and clarity. "I was on our porch," Lucy continued, her voice wavering but steady. "I thought it was a movie, but it wasn't. I called my mom to come out, and she saw too. He needed help." "Did you see the car's license plate?" Mr. Parker's voice rang out, filled with urgency. The group held its breath, the future of their neighbor hanging in the balance between Lucy's words and what they might uncover. Lucy squinted as if trying to pull the memory back into focus. I think it was blue. But I didn't see the letters. I was too scared." That's when the man next to Lily, still visibly shaken, took a step forward. "I saw a blue car too. I thought I was imagining it." His voice cracked. It was a desperate plea for validation, something they all seemed to need in that moment. "Thank you, sir," the officer replied, sensing the importance of this shared memory. "Every detail helps. We want to make sure everyone is safe." Lily's heart raced again, but this time it wasn't just fear. It was pride in this small girl's bravery and the solidarity that was building among them. Each person in that group felt the weight of their collective responsibility, binding them in an unexpected quest for truth. Then Lucy spoke up again, shifting her eyes between the officers and the surrounding crowd. "But I also have something else. I heard a scary sound before it all happened. Like a dog barking. But not just one bark, like a whole bunch." The officer straightened, his brow furrowing with interest. "Was there a dog with the car?" he asked, his voice growing excited. It was the first sliver of an unfolding mystery, and anticipation flowed through the group like wildfire. Everyone appeared fixated on Lucy's revelation. Lily felt her pulse quicken. Could this little girl's innocent insight lead them somewhere crucial? Who knew what could unravel next? The little girl, unexpectedly at the center of a pivotal moment. As the community leaned in closer, eager for more clues, Lily whispered to the man beside her. "Let us hope this brings us justice," she said, her hope mingling with uncertainty. The officer then looked around, meeting each set of eyes. "If anyone else remembers something, no matter how small, it could help us with the investigation." But just as they were rallying, another figure emerged from the shadows, an unfamiliar face stepping into the flickering lights. "I know what happened." To a heartbeat of silence swept through the crowd as Lily's chest tightened. Who was this newcomer, and what else would they learn that night? The newcomer stepped forward, anxiety clouding their features. It was a young man, perhaps in his 20s, with messy hair and a worn jacket. He looked around nervously. I was nearby when it happened," he stammered, his voice trembling. "I didn't want to get involved, but I saw the blue car speeding away." Lily felt a wave of anticipation ripple through the crowd. This was it. Pieces of the puzzle were falling into place, connecting them to the incident that had just shaken their community. "What else did you see?" she urged gently, feeling the weight of every gaze directed his way as he took a moment to compose himself. They were screaming at each other before the car zoomed past. I thought it was just a loud argument, he continued, swallowing hard. But then I heard the crash, and all the barking. I thought something terrible had happened. His voice broke, and tears glistened in his eyes. I was too scared to step out, but I knew I should have. With every detail spilling forth, a palpable shift took hold. People whispered to one another, concern and determination etched on their faces. Lily glanced at Mr. Parker, who nodded encouragingly, urging the young man to continue. Do you remember anything about the people arguing? Mr. Parker asked, leaning in with genuine interest. Any descriptions? The young man furrowed his brow, as if concentrating hard. One had dark clothing and looked angry. The other seemed defensive. I can remember the way they yelled at each other, it made me feel uncomfortable. Lily nodded, feeling the energy in the crowd intensify. They were joining together, pulling pieces of truth from their collective memories, stitching scars into healing fabric. What happened next? She prompted, the excitement of discovery surging in her heart. I saw the blue car race off, and then sirens came shortly after, he continued. I wish I hadn't waited. I wish I would come forward sooner. The hesitation didn't go unnoticed. It's okay, Lily said gently, feeling the warmth of unity envelop her, you're here now. We can all help each other find the truth. As the crowd simmered down, she glanced at Lucy, who was hugging her teddy bear tight, her big blue eyes wide with concern. You were very brave, Lucy. Lily praised. We're all brave, together. The man nodded vigorously, emboldened by Lily's words. The atmosphere shifted, a flicker of solidarity igniting among them, promising strength in their shared mission. This was no longer just about an accident, it was about a community refusing to let fear bind them, perhaps that was where the true healing would thrive. Just when hope began to weave itself into the fabric of their gathering, a familiar voice rang out. I just want to thank everyone for stepping up, Mr. Parker said, his voice now resonating with assurance. Together, we just took a significant step toward truth, a step that can change our community for the better. The crowd began to feel lighter, connection blossoming where there had been only fear. Let us keep listening and sharing, Lily added, embers of courage igniting in her heart once more. There are so many pieces left to put together, and we can do it together. This can't be the end. A ripple of agreement swelled through the crowd as they nodded, feeling the weight of collective energy binding them. People were ready to heal together, ready to face whatever darkness might linger, and as they all began to exchange stories, recounting the good times shared and moments of connection, Lily felt emotion swell, weaving a tapestry that was vibrant and alive. Each smile, each tear, every forgotten laughter resurfacing added a touch of brightness to Maplewood, stitching together healing hearts and minds. Once divided by whispers of distrust, the community now sat firm in their commitment to healing. Mr. Parker announced proudly, we'll be holding meetings this week to continue sharing and focusing on solutions. Together, we will stand, as friends, as neighbors. Cheers erupted, breaking into the night air with optimism. Lily stepped back, looking around at the faces of her neighbors unlike ever before. They seemed whole. It was a beginning, one so tentative yet so impactful. The sirens faded into the distance, becoming a memory not determination. They had risen up in this moment, harnessing each other's strength. Without knowing it, they had become a living testament of resilience. As they embraced the night with open hearts, the energy coursed through Maplewood. The town felt alive, a shared future shimmering on the horizon, each story shared, a thread binding them closer. In that glorious moment, Lily grinned, hopeful. The future was bright no matter what came next, they'd face it together. The community of Maplewood had finally found its voice, and nothing could silence them now. But wait, this isn't the end. You need to subscribe now to catch all the exclusive updates on the community's journey of healing. Leave a like now to fuel our progress and spread the spirit of connection. Comment below with your favorite moments from tonight. The power of stories lies in sharing, and share instantly this story with at least 5 friends who need to see how unity can transform a community. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second.